everyone, welcome to Bear Clooney Watches channel, genuine watch enthusiast channel on which we search for perfect timepiece and occasionally discuss various horological topics and subjects. On this channel, there is no hidden product placements, Amazon links, great straps to sell, and we do not plan to make you a gentleman. If you're not one, you will never become one. So, going back to main purpose of this channel, searching for perfect timepiece. And as you could see from the introduction to this video, today I'm presenting to you one exceptional watch. Watch with a claim to be first mechanical diver. Watch that has a great history behind, a little bit interrupted at one period of time, but heritage nevertheless. Refinement, beauty, what can I say? Except let's jump into a short retrospective of history behind this wonderful timepiece. As you could see from this short retrospective, it is very clear that the watch that I'm presenting today is holding in itself true DNA of the first Blancpain 50 Fathoms. And this is something very important to me. This is something I really like. I like heritage reissues. I love when watch holds the value of important heritage piece. And what I mean by value, aesthetics and DNA behind it. So let's not waste any time. Let's go to Bear Clooney Watches studio and take a closer look at this beautiful timepiece. And here we are at Bear Clooney Watches studio, taking a closer look at this beautiful, iconic diver, Blancpain 50 Fathoms 5015. The 50 Fathoms divers originate from 1953. The modern version has evolved from the original design to what we see here today. So, in my humble opinion, when it comes to design and heritage of design, this watch, which is launched in 2007, holds the most of the DNA to the original Blancpain 50 Fathoms, which was designed in 1953. Now, this watch is consisting of following functions. We have a date, we have seconds, we have anti-magnetic cage, we have the beautiful sapphire one-way rotating bezel. We have a stainless steel case, impressive case with impressive finish. We have a case thickness of 15.5 millimeter. We have a case diameter of 45 millimeters, which is completely acceptable for the tool watch. Some might find this size is just not something they can handle on the wrist. I feel comfortable with it in a similar fashion as I do with my PAM 312. There's something about diver's watch that simply allows for larger size to be acceptable. Now, when it comes to the movement of this watch, we have a power reserve of 5 days. The functions are 3 stem position. First stem position is winding the barrel. Second one is the quick date. And third is time setting and hacking. The bezel turns anti-clockwise only, so it's a proper diver bezel. The watch is tested to be water resistant to a depth of 300 meters. The watch glass and the insert on the bezel are made from sapphire. And they're beautiful. The strap is also gorgeous. It's kind of like a nylon strap with a leather in the back. And kind of rubberized actually in the back. Beautiful, beautiful clasp. And I like the cool factor that this strap is connected to the watch through screw system instead of the spring bars. I think that's a kind of cool factor. Movement that I mentioned is caliber 1315. It is impressive movement. It's a 28,800 vibrations per hour, which is kind of standard. It has the bimetallic rotor. It has unidirectional winding, and it is the 35 joules. I think I'd like to show you actually animated representation of that movement that Blancpain did. I thought it was kind of cool, and I think you will enjoy it. So why don't we take a look? Wasn't that kind of cool, eh? For people who enjoy the movements, I think it's such an interesting presentation of it. Now, talk about the name of this watch, 50 Fathoms. I'm sure many of you will notice that indeed this watch is water resistant to more than 50 fathoms. The 50 fathoms is the name that derived from the original version of this watch that dates back to the middle of the 20th century during the great dive watch race among major watchmakers of that era. Brands such as Rolex and Blancpain pushed the limits of the available technology at that time to equip those engaged with the emerging world of scuba and other sport diving. It was in the 1950s that the modern dive watch was born, a timepiece designed for professional use, but also suitable and available, obviously, to people like us, hobbyists. In fact, if you think about it, the dive watch is a unique creature because it is among the few items originally designed as a professional instrument that transcended into one's normal life without undergoing any real changes. So there we have today desk divers, and most of the divers play the role of the desk diver. It would be kind of like, if you think about it, comical thought behind it, being that it is a tool watch, it would be kind of like if someone is wearing a construction yard hard hat out on the town, and while that's something that simply doesn't work with anything, interestingly, it does work with the dive watches. I thought it was an interesting thought and felt like I want to share it with you. The newest generation 50 Fathoms is no longer new, but it does represent a beautiful, timeless design. Even when Blancpain updated their watch again, the 5015 generation 50 Fathoms will still remain a beautiful item. It was released when large timepieces were still all the rage, and the watches were going into that direction. And it was also released before the craze of the ceramic bezel inserts. So they came up with this gorgeous sapphire bezel, and the insert here is still very durable because it's made of sapphire crystal. And it's curved, which is not easy thing to do, and it certainly adds to the beauty of this watch. So it's impressive. When that came out, this all sapphire bezel, it was obviously something completely new, and the fact that it was shaped in this curved look on the bezel, it was something that certainly got a lot of attention. Under the sapphire crystal is a vintage styled timing bezel, which is kind of designed that has become a symbol of how minimalistic design translates well into dive watches. I should also note that for those who don't know, sapphire crystal is almost as durable as ceramic, and this bezel is actually more expensive to produce than ceramic bezels. So it is very precious in its own way. So 50 fathoms, as I mentioned earlier, the depth that this watch was reaching when it came out in 1953 is actually approximately 100 meters, exactly 300 feet. The 50 fathoms is the watch that you see here. The new version is resistant to 300 meters, which is closer to 1,000 feet. So obviously Blancpain has improved its cases over the last 60 or whatever years, which is not surprising. Even though this is a timepiece with a high level of pedigree, it is still tool watch. It's a professional dive watch in its core, in its existence, even though they are positioning themselves as a high horology, and I don't know, to me this is still a very much basic tool watch with a truly decent high quality movement. It's a very nice clean dial, and very legible. I like it a lot. What really makes the dial feel good is the high quality parts and finishing that Blancpain uses. I can even go further to suggest that this timepiece is a good example of how quality components can make something simple feel great. The overall design of the 50 Fathoms, while it is still highly refined in comparison to the 1953 version, is relatively simple. What really makes this watch feel like a high-end item are materials in this watch, and without those components, a level of refinement for most luxury products would lose its appeal. So I think this watch kind of is tribute to the materials, to the design, and what makes a watch desirable to the sophisticated consumer, such as us watch geeks, watch enthusiasts. It is definitely a watch that is vintage inspired, probably another reason why I love this piece. Overall, I think it's a high quality watch. It's a great history behind it, even though, in all honesty, Blancpain is kind of revived brand by its all history. I think they connected well with its history from 1953 and made a nice link with this timepiece. Hey, let's take a look at the lume at this watch, which I find truly impressive. So let me just turn the lights off in Bear Clooney's watch studio and we'll take a look. Wow, look at this thing light up. And it is just so cool how it lights up on the bezel. This watch is by far greatest lume that I have in my collection. It surpasses everything I have, and it just again reaffirms that this watch is genuinely a great diver, a great tool watch. Now let's take a look at the wrist presence of this watch, because the size of this watch might be element that makes some question it. So we'll go there. Turn the light on. You can see how the watch looks on my 7.25 inches wrist size. I think it sits nicely. It's a beautiful. You know, I was just wanted to comment this. It's so we are such a snobs in our watch world. I know for a fact how many people make fun of Invictus signing their watches on the side and comment how tacky that is. Yet a watch like this has the same type of signing on the side, and it's commented how cool it is. We genuinely can be discriminating just based on pricing and so on. I wanted to comment on that because, frankly, if you ask me, I don't think Blancpain needed this on the side, but it's there, it's part of it, fine, acceptable. Now, the watch itself sits nicely on the wrist. It's not too heavy, it's not too uncomfortable. It has a beautiful presence. Oh, look at that. Nice bezel. I love it. Anyway, that's kind of everything I really wanted to share regarding this watch. Why don't we go back, wrap up this video, And oh yeah, May 4th. May 4th be with you. I just didn't want to forget to say that. Now we're going to Bear Clooney's cave, and the video will end. So that's that. That's the beautiful Blancpain 50 Fathoms 5015. We are back at Bear Clooney's cave. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you like this video, please don't forget to click on like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Help me exist as a genuine watch enthusiast channel. All the best to all of you.